I'm Margaret Ann Windsor, and I'm going to make this short because I'm feeling so bad. I've put up here background and everything. Right now, I'm just going to go with what I mean to say today. I was kidnapped in 41 at age 2 and brought to Moulton, Alabama from Buckingham Palace and given the name of Peggy Ann Dempsey, and I married Childers. Peggy and Carl were twins born out of wedlock, and the mother killed Carl when he was about a month old, and then just prior to my being put there, about a week or 2 weeks, Peggy was killed and fed to the pigs, the real Peggy. So my life was a living hell all along. It's who my dad is and who kidnapped me and who my mom is. So I'm going to say this because I feel real bad. I've told about how I found out about my kidnapping in late '83, and the fact that I want to see if this is going up. The fact that um, I found out about my kidnapping in late '83. I was flown out to Larry Flint's because he had been shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia in '78, and I had been writing a medical malpractice book and trying to get it published about mind control murders. And these were done in patterns because mind control and programming is invisible and it's hard to prove, but these were done in patterns. And Larry Flint was one of them that was shot, and he flew me out there when the doctor went down in the KAL that took 260 plus passengers down. This is in '83, Larry McDonald, the congressman doctor. So I'd written about him and almost gotten killed and just my family destroyed. And then I found out about my kidnapping and who I am. I'm going to fast forward to this part of it. Now it won't go up, I bet you, so it won't do me any good. That happened. Anyway, I'm going to try and see. Today, I found out that I've always worked for doctors, and I worked for the district attorney Simpson in Huntsville, etc. But uh, I wanted to put this: nobody ever diagnosed me as having an autoimmune disorder until after I come up here, and it made so much sense because um, I'm allergic to chemicals, and I react. My immune system attacks itself, and it can cause a lot of damage to all your organs. Um, Especially in my case, because you have to get away from it. If it's in this room here, and this is what happens, if it's deliberately done, which it has been to me, to make me move from one place to the other, looking irresponsible, and I've been kept penniless just about. So now then, without going any further, I want to put what's happening here today and just happened. People don't want to hear it, and I can't get an attorney to do anything. I really can't. It goes so high up. I was told, and this is true if you find out the connections here. I do want to put that I've tried to leave because I've been kept deliberately having to suck up fumes in the room. Motel. I've had to stay in motels, cheap motels, and a couple, 4 times I got HUD homes, which is federal, but that gets to be a whole story in itself. And you have to get someone up under the threat of perjury to get them to tell the truth. Now, I want to get to what happened here today. In this whole thing, I've tried to move from here and I'd be run back. And when things got so bad here, I would go to the Appalachian Trail out here in Troutville, not many miles from me, from Roanoke, get on the trail and I'd go north and just a little south. And I've lived up there and frozen and starved, and people were told not to help me by law enforcement. Now, law enforcement can get something on a child or the mother and father or the person, and they can tell them to help me or hurt me. So anyway, I will say this, and I'm here now. He owns this one. I've put a newspaper clipping up about him where he has all these people are rolling up with the mayor and ex-governors who are now senators of Virginia, who were calling him an entrepreneur and how nice he is. And here I am running around begging and starving. I can't even buy a hamburger very many times. I ate side dishes, pasta side dishes. So now then, it's. I hope the world gets to see how this country has treated me, is treating me. Now then, today's typical. They get things on the maintenance guy. Everybody's got something to hide. Law enforcement can get something on the son or daughter or a family member, and they'll dismiss it, etc., or prosecute it according to what the person agrees to. And I want to tell this real quick. They get the maintenance to fix it up where I'm inhaling fumes that kill me. God knows it's horrible. And over time, it tears your body up. But I'm going to give just two examples. When I first came here, I'm not going to name any names, but I'd be happy to. I may have put it up before on YouTube and Facebook. But one man years ago, and I was literally on the street when I came here in '86, and he offered me a place at Hardy Trailer Park, and I ended up later working for DJ Cooper, a live-in for his father, and he's the only one in this whole mess that really paid me or was good to me, he and his wife Ruth. But anyway, at the time I didn't know him. He owned the trailer park. And this man was maintenance at a church downtown. And he told me if I'd come out there and stay with his, I believe it was his nephew, and see that he got to school on time, that I would have my meals and could sleep there. Well, I got there, and it was a horrible environment. And to eat, I mean, that was a sick joke. I tried to get the boy to school on time. He wouldn't go. He ended up coming back beating my door down. I had to lock it, and I was afraid of him. And the point being, while I was there, I saw this thing on the wall that said that he was due to go to court. The young man was in Bedford. And if he was found guilty, I can't remember. Anyway, he had to go to court. So part of this was hiring me. Now then, there's another one. I'm not going to mention their name, and because they totally knew all this too, and I liked them. I really did. But they paid a week for rent from me years back, and they bought some food for me, and that was it. But they did that for the hikers, some of the hikers. So it wasn't any thing out of the ordinary to help me with what I had been through. But anyway, come find out the reason they paid the week's rent for me was because their son was going to court, and he was going to be put on probation if they didn't. So that was the whole point. They paid it, not for me, to help me to get the son. So I've let you know enough. Some of this gets more than that, more in detail, the crimes and everything. But here's the deal here. And I'm going to go ahead and put it up because I've just been put it up on YouTube and Facebook, what's just happened to me. When I would try to go and camp out, and one of the places is at Arcadia, Buchanan, and it's a U.S. Forestry campground. People go there and they pay, and it's got water and toilet, and they have hosts there most of the time. So when I could, I would, and got in bad shape and couldn't pay the rent, I would go out there, or it got so bad that the smells were making me so sick. The odors, the toxic fumes. Well, now, the last 4 or 5 years, I've just gone out there once each year, maybe, and for a while I hadn't gone when I could keep a place and everything. But anyway, they started having hosts come in that had these really fancy house on wheels. It cost a bloody fortune. And a couple of them worked for the forestry themselves. And you wouldn't believe what they did to me. I've tried to put it up here, but the last time I was out there was about a month ago, and they literally just soaked me in chemicals and soaked my tent. And I've developed vertigo. I've never had vertigo over the years except a few times, and it wasn't bad. It was more dizziness. I didn't take medicine for that. Maybe over a year, I might take 4 pills or 5. But then they started using it on me. A fume, I don't know what it is, it would cause vertigo really bad. I had to go to the hospital, and I'm leaving out part of this because it won't all go up, and I wanted to get this in. I had to go to the hospital emergency room, spend part of the night, and so then I fell. When I came back to where I was living, they used it on me again, and I can smell it. I don't know what it is. But anyway, I fell. So you get into me, a friend of mine told me to put it up. He's in law enforcement. He told me to get YouTube and Facebook and put it up because he thought maybe somebody would help me. I couldn't get an attorney. So I want to boil it down to this. This has gone on and on. My life has been running from here to there and telling people and trying to get help and begging. And the last time I was out there, like I say, they had chemical trucks that were out there, and that wasn't all that was used. They sprayed my tent, and I just bought a new tent, and the old one I didn't think would work, but I had it with me. Well, I got out there and put it up, and I went into 10 minutes of screaming and hyperventilating and everything. And then that wasn't enough. I threw the tent away out in the garbage. I got it thrown away and put up the old one. Well, they come in, these chemical trucks, I don't know where they were going up there in the forest, but anyway, point being, they were not supposed to park there. They parked right across from where I was camped. And the last 2 nights, they made my life a living hell. And the person that drives the truck, has the fancy home on wheels, actually drives a National Forestry truck. He actually works for them. So he was a part of this. Well, the last 2 nights, these trucks, the one that was right across from me, would start up to let me know they were there. They'd turn their lights on and rev a motor up, and I got so sick from the chemicals. They had these big things on the back with, I don't know what, it was a chemical trucks these were. I don't know what kind, but anyway, this goes high up if you see who I am and what they're doing to me. Anyway, the last 2 nights, it was totally horrible. I had diarrhea all over the place. I couldn't move my head to get up. It would just start spinning. So now then, they've really got me in a mess to where it's vertigo and not just a little dizzy or the other things that they've used on me that make me react in different ways. So now then, I come back, and I'm here. I'm going to say it. I'm at Sonny Shaw's. And the Patels, they were sent over here from India to help me. They have gotten wealthy, and that was the article that I put up that somebody showed me, had seen my YouTubes and said, "Lady, I want to show you this because I'm glad to meet you." Well, it was about all the people, them opening the new motels. They own everything at Troutville here in Roanoke, and next door in Christiansburg they've opened up, and they own things in Charlottesville and I don't know where, but they've become quite wealthy. I had nothing against them, but they got their wealth over being sent here to help me, and this is what they've done to me, help run me. And at one point years ago, when I finally got an income, on Third Lane Road, they had built a new complex, and I started getting a little money. I paid for a week, and it was so okay, and I got my check, and I paid for a month. 2 days later, I was forced to leave because they had it bombed. They had them come in with me trying to keep them out. And when I called Mr. Shaw, he had me walking all the way down to the Ramada Inn and told me he would give my money back. I got down there, and he didn't. and I stayed a night. He let me stay a night. Get this. And then it was so bad. And the woman that had the room worked there. She's in housekeeping. And her friends, there were three of them, said they had been to D.C. and they to try to help me, and they couldn't do anything. It went so far up. So I'm just letting you know, I paid rent for, I didn't pay a month anymore usually, but for a week, and I'd stay 2 nights, and I'd be so sick I'd run from one place to the other or to the forest. So I don't know how many days that I'm owed and being run because nobody is going to do anything about it. In fact, when the week's up at a motel, you're made to leave. So now then, I'm getting run out of Roanoke. They won't, any of the agencies won't help me. My God, I can hardly walk. What I wanted to say today is the maintenance, if this is ever prosecuted, they have no right to do this to me. It's assault and battery and chemical warfare, plus a lot of other things. Today, I came back here. This is one of Sonny Shaw's, and to be honest and everything, when I came here, I was running from another place in Troutville, and I was brought here by a cab driver. And I came in, and this is a nice one. And the first 2 weeks that I stayed here, it was just fine. I was so thankful. Then I didn't have the money, and I left. And I went out to the Arcadia, to the campground where you pay. And well, that was then. That's when they soaked me with the chemicals. Yeah. So now then I'm back, and I end up in the same situation because this is more expensive, and I end up using cab fare. I don't have a car, and it's really a weird things are so put together. It's almost like central casting or something. And to make a long story short, before this goes out, I went back up to, I found myself with about a week. I couldn't pay till my check came, and I couldn't let it slide here or anything. And I started getting fumes here, though, where when I first came here, I guess that was back in the middle of July, it was okay, and I was so glad. This is the Sonny Shaw one here in Salem. And I put up on YouTube and all this how nice it was, trying to be fair to everybody, no matter what had been done to me. Now then, I end up having to leave, and I go up on Blue Ridge Parkway, and it's past the Peaks of Honor, about 6 miles north. And it's right there. You can get off, and there's a horse trail or forestry road, and you go down it just a tiny bit, and you turn in, and it's Appalachian Trail. They have a hiker's shack and all this, and water, and I thought I'd be safe till I could get my check and come back and try to get something. And in fact, I was going to try to leave Roanoke, but I've been run back before. So I got up there. Second night I was up there, there were people come in from, they either come in from North Creek, where I had been. I found out that Forest Road goes right down there and comes out up there where I was at the Parkway. So these people were burning it in the night and laughing. They weren't even supposed to be in that spot. It was down a little bit away from the hiker's shack where normally people are. And most of the hikers had gone through. There was a few there. But long story short, they soaked my tent. And I was so sick again, I could not get up or move. So a woman with a backpack on came up after I was up there 5 nights. I had 5 more nights to go till I could get my check and come back down to Roanoke and get a place to stay or leave. And she took it upon herself, which you would think was nice, but I didn't know she did it. She called the rescue unit, and it came all the way up there into park rangers.